Hello and welcome to my new YouTube channel. I would like to say hello, and if you like what you're seeing, you can actually subscribe and maybe even give me a like. I would appreciate it. My name is Mark Faust. I'm a photographer and I would like to talk with you first up about something simple. Let's just start somewhere simple. I would like to talk with you about the table tripod. Now, table tripods are great. They really come handy when you tend to have an overload of luggage. You don't know whether or not you're going to be taking the tripod. You are not sure where you're going to, what environment you're going to come across. The tripod just happens to be too cumbersome. Take one of these with you. You will wish that you had, so do take it. Now, that being said, just give you a quick rundown on it. Basically, this is a Mann-Billy MT-01. Doesn't need to be, can be anything. Gitzo, Manfrotto, can be plastic, can be carbon fiber, can be a Joby. It really is up to you what you're willing to spend and what sort of payload you have. Just be aware that you actually have got the right tripod that can actually carry your payload. This one here is made of metal. Now what I do with this is basically I fit a ball head onto this with a screw-on adapter if need to be. So I've got a 482 Manfrotto ball head on this. Then I fit a quick release Manfrotto, can be Manfrotto, could be Swiss Arca, doesn't really matter, whatever you've got, whatever you use. I would recommend that you match that up with your existing tripod and existing gear. That way you don't have any problems mounting and dismounting this. I mean, you can, most of the times you end up forgetting little pieces like the adapters that go on here, etc., and then you cannot use the unit because you've actually forgotten the male part that goes on here or whatever. So if you've got matching items, they usually often enough end up in your bag and you have one. Now, that being said, you can actually use this. I've got a Swiss Arca on here. I can't actually fit this camera body onto here at the moment, but you can actually fit the camera body on and basically work the menus, etc. And you can actually use it for cleaning by just basically rotating the head, having the camera on like that. You can actually work down on it safely. You can actually clean your sensor if you are that way inclined. You actually got the expertise to do it. And you've got two hands free. You don't have to hold onto the camera. Clean it that way. It's a lot safer actually having it on here on the actual stand, and everything works well. Now that being said, just let me throw a heavier lens onto this. This is the 70-400 A mount lens with the IA3 to E mount adapter, EA. Now this payload here is about, I don't know, 2 kilos plus or something. So once you've got that set up and you've got the quick release, el presto, you can just see how quickly this actually fits on. Now what I do is I actually put the lens over the leading leg of the tripod. I would highly recommend that you actually take the body and the lens with you into the shop if you can, and test it in the shop and make sure that you've actually got something that will actually hold a substantial lens like this if you have got one. It really depends on the user and what you would actually use it for. I use this setup like for low light, for low ground shooting, low light obviously, sunsets, over the water skimming, high reflective, water reflections, etc. And the low angle is just great. I mean, it works really well. It does actually come with straps, etc., so you can actually fit it onto a post or a tree or whatever. That is really up to you. I mean, it's always prone to failure. If you've got failure on something like that, strapping comes loose, etc., camera falls down the ground, I would hate to having to replace this out of my own pocket. Now, as you can see, you can actually just loosen this up, and you can actually just pivot it whichever way you want, lock it in place. It's great for that. Also, if you actually want to do portrait angles, it's good for that as well. As long as you've got the legs, you could just see that tipped. As long as you've got the leg bearing the actual wide of the lens, it's really good for that. Okay, I have got nothing else to say. If you've actually got any questions, I'm always willing to answer all your questions in the actual comment boxes. So feel free to ask me any questions. Yeah. So I hope your shooting is good shooting, and you have a great time over the next period when you actually get a chance to shoot. That being said, please again subscribe, like, and I'll see you around next time for another one of these little sessions that I'm going to do from time to time. Okay, see you later.